It was a glorious, colorful autumn. We'd just left the coffee shop. When we walked by, she had giggled and pulled me inside, saying, "Come on, let's be basic white boys and get some pumpkin spice." I don't like coffee. I never had. But when he handed me my cup and looked into my eyes while I tried it, it was the best thing I'd ever tasted. My hand still tingled where he grabbed it. As we walked through the park with our drinks, a light drizzle began to fall. He pulled out an umbrella from his bag. I pulled up my hood and hunched my shoulders. "Don't be silly," he giggled, pulling me under the umbrella with him. I couldn't help but laugh too. His laugh is infectious. As the sun started to shine again, he pulled me down to sit on a bench. He beamed down at me, and I could only gaze back adoringly. "So Ava," he began. I knew this tone of voice. "It's dangerous. Who do you like?" he whispered, and I looked away. I wanted to say, you, 1,000 times you. You're the only one I can ever think about. You're gorgeous and sweet and funny and instead, I shrugged my shoulders and looked down at my cup. He looked at me with a cautious smile. "If I tell you mine, will you tell me yours?" "Okay," I said. "The person I like is you." I dropped my drink. "I'll be wanting to tell you for a while through. I know you're not interested in me, but..." I put my hand over his mouth. He looked at me in surprise. I take a deep breath. "Dave, My voice catches my throat. He removes a hand from his mouth, leans in a tiny bit closer. "What is it?" he asks, looking concerned. Because I can't seem to form the words. I tell him how I feel the only way I can. Before I can lose my courage, I lean forward, pressing my lips to him. After his momentary shocks fade, he kisses me back. As his lips move against mine, it's like there's a fire in my veins. His hand gently cups my face. As mine timidly grab him by his arm, he pulls me deeper into the kiss, running his tongue along my lips and nearly making me moan. I can't believe this is happening. We finally break apart when we're both breathless. He tilts his head so our foreheads and touching while he whisper. I nod in reply. "Ava, so does this mean?" He is stammer. This is the first time I've seen Dave at a loss words. I feel a bit proud of myself, and finally getting courage. He grabbed my hand, and he knee down, and said,
"Will you marry me, Ava?"
I was shocked and surprised, and happy to hear that from him, and I said yes to him. He hugged me, kissed me. I was so happy and tell to myself, I finally found my destiny. My tears starting to fall. Why is there's any problem? Dave said ... No. Is only tears of joy, Ava answered. We were getting married as soon as possible. I never seen Dave blush before and said, I can't believe you're mine now, Ava. I'm still thinking I can't believe you're mine. When we move in together ... As he walks down in the aisle on our wedding day, Dave said, this is only part of the story of how I met my husband and fell in love with him. I am working on the rest of it, but this is really the important part of the story of how I fell in love him. That day when our eyes met, that moment of instant admiration in which I could contemplate your beauty for the first time, has left me amazed until today. Since that time I have not been able to make you stop thinking, and the thought of you does not bother me at all. Every moment you pass through my mind is pure joy, an explosion of happiness in my mind. That euphoria is my reason for living. You're my reason for being, my awakening and my going to bed. My first thought belongs to you and the last in turn does. I want nothing more than to take your hand and walk to infinity, to the end of time, to the end of my strength, without taking into account anyone else. That it is you and me in this vast world. How happy it makes me to spend my time with you cannot be summed up in words. It cannot be understand. It just happens. And the truth is that I am not complaining. You are the most beautiful way to spend my time. The long conversations we have are the best there is and should be. How your words caress my heart and the attention with which you look at me make me feel on the cusp of happiness. Your eyes of illusion and your beautiful face that slowly turns to as I speak is something that only happens once in a lifetime. And I love you is not enough to express everything I feel. No words would suffice. A hug, a caress, a look is the only thing I can and cannot process to say how much I love you. The next phase of our relationship was the wedding planning phase. At this point, I was kind of out of moves. My objective was to create a beautiful day for my fiancé, my future husband, the love of my life. I asked if he would be offended if I had him do most of the wedding planning so he could have everything the way that he wanted. He happily took the reins and started to plan our wedding. He looked at one wedding venue after another and started touring wedding venues in all his spare time. One day he called me while I was at work, and he said he found the spot, wanted us to get married. He had stumbled across a venue. We got married at the Black Beach location, and every single detail was covered. The day was just so full of happiness and love, and it was epic. This whole journey has been so surreal, from the introduction to the outcome. I am the luckiest human alive. I couldn't have asked for more from him. Our friendship, the venue, or our family, and everyone did their part in making this magic happen. I'm being totally honest. Of all of the many relationships I've seen throughout my life, there's only one that I would say made me truly believe in love. Yes, I know plenty of couples who pleasantly tolerate each other even after many years together. But real love stories that endure the test of time are few and far between. If that sad truth has you feeling hopeless about the whole love thing, before you, I've only ever really loved two men, and they were so very different to each other. You are some holy blend of them both, as if the universe made someone that if I ever met them, I'd know for sure they were unique in all the world. So, I'm so happy to have met you, and I'm scared too. There is such joy and such pain. I've never wanted any form of eternity until now. I never saw the point. So stay, be in love with me too, be brave enough to take my hand. Falling in love with you was the easy part. It's admitting to myself that it happened that's hard. You see, I've had these very efficient defenses for so long, and you didn't even notice them. How rude. I guess they were meant for others. And you had your own door. I could ask why, but what's the point? I married you with my eyes and soul on that night in London town. I married you with my heart and every future dream. I saw all of you, the joys and the sorrows, and I knew I was home. And the funny, unfunny part is I wish I had told you. Perhaps one day I will. When I see you, it's as if space and time become the finest point imaginable, as if time collapses into one tiny speck and explodes at light speed. It's as if my universe begins and ends with you. I could run forever, search forever, but in the end, every path leads right back to your heart and soul. I love you in the way a puppy loves devoted, playful, trusting. I guess I should be ashamed of that somehow. Aren't we all supposed to be tough? Yet I prefer to be strong, strong enough to risk being broken all over again, to love again, full, knowing my own fragility. I've known heartbreak enough. In my life I have only ever fallen twice, once with an opposite and once with a mirror. It would have been so neat for one to follow the other, but like many things in life, they came close together. I can only ever be with one, give one my heart, body and soul. Though both were precious gifts, one brought joy and the other pain. To the one I give myself to, I place my all in their hands. I give them the power to save me or destroy me. With perfect love comes perfect trust and the knowledge that should my love wish me gone, I would raise no hand. We call them knights in shining armor, perhaps because in the night we need a more or love to shine for us. Or perhaps it is that only love can find its way through the armor we all wear and polish, hiding the self that is so vulnerable and soft. Either way, when the joust began, there was only my time and my love are all I have. They are both eternally yours if you want them. The averages are safer in a true age, a Vera age, and so need heroes and heroes to make it. They will love you forever, you saviors, but they will stay right where they are because they chose to. That is the way it. With one touch you entered my soul, as if your own body were its key, not a thing of metal nor gold, yet a sensation of love that came through fingertips and eyes, through your steady breaths, through your sweet words. I listen to you talk, soaking in your excitement, revealing in the light of your eyes, bathed in the warmth of your voice. I see how you are often still. I see how you move. I notice how you listen to me, how you think so deeply. We are so different, you and I, yet together are balance, as yin and yang, both beauty, both strength, a perfect match, a perfect bond. In your arms my storms quell. In your arms I have peace. In your arms I am home. With the love of my life I can be all that I am, chase my dreams and let my personality breathe. For that is the way when you love someone, you want to see them fully, rather than some manicured version. The love of my life isn't perfect, and I'm not either, but we are perfect for one another. With the love of my life I am in a flower meadow for the first time, having spent what feels like an eternity living in a windowless box. To have a great romantic relationship, first learn how to be alone. You must be truly yourself and able to love and hold on to who you are, and so must your partner. Otherwise you both fall as you seek to please and keep the other in fear of losing them, crippled by a fear of being alone.